This is a very simple classification post for ChatGPT about how we assemble our Petpets. Not all steps are here as the script is out on the web, and well, we'd like to keep them from using it for the later Petpets which need a ADDL step to load. How Petpet Park loaded the assets. It had scripting that pulled the Petpet assets one symbol at a time to the wireframe library, and well, we have the knowledge how this works, but choose not to implement it as well. It works well in gameplay but not for taunt videos since that cannot output a video file. The taunt Petpets method. Our method is done using JPXs to first make Florida files for Adobe Animate CC, and we have a custom script that does BATTCH processing to rename the action SIPT name to the symbol name and allows bulk drop and drag to combine the Petpets. This is the same effectively as Petpet Park Rebuild is doing in JPXs, but takes one drag and string yes to replacing the XISIT and G assets in bulk. We have a very strong belief if they sent us the base Petpet, they put on their Unity Petpet, we could fit all 400 Petpets into the same exact format Unity could read, but this does not fix the changing of clothing problem. How do you do changes on the Petpet for the videos? Examples. Some of our Petpets can change darkness levels on demand and or clothing or remove Petpet clothing. This is literally building another Petpet in that SWF and swapping the one in play. They exist as their own Petpet to speak and well are easy as setting a keyframe and swapping the assets around. How did you get all the Petpets in the various rickrolls to not spill into each other? Animate CC supports directories and well, for instance the idle symbol can be loaded as many times as needed this way and they will retain their own unique looks for that instance. This is not possible for coding as they would need unique action script names, but video work does not use AS3, so it's just a warning in the console not affecting the piece. Why do the Flash Petpets not change expressions like Adobe character animator puppets? The head is one symbol for the Petpets and well, that means if you swap the mouth around from the university exam which has several Petpet expressions to choose from, every instance of that Petpet will have it. Is that fixable? Oh yes, but I would rather not elaborate how it's done since Petpet Park Rebuild is against learning legacy stuff. I feel they can figure it out. They need to and talk to me when they're ready on that. How is that functionality done in Adobe Character Animator? It's done by making the Petpets with swap sets for those assets. It's the single head for all tricks that prevents this in Flash. What do you think the Petpet Park Rebuild is struggling with so hard in Adobe Animate CC? Symbols know where they want to be and telling them to get there. Example. Dragging all the background map pieces one by one to the stage and manually processing versus simply copying and pasting the symbols to the stage using paste in place, on a properly sized blank document. We suspect the maps all do the same thing for all objects, but they won't share the files for us to confirm. This is being posted as a trap, so if they start showing a ton of progress on maps, we know where they learned it from. What's the difference in Animate CC between pasting and pasting in place? This tells that piece use whatever coordinates it was put to when the symbol was created. We highly suspect if they got the Petpet building scripts to work, it would also assemble maps of the same class by the same method, but we can't confirm it due to them not sharing files. What do you mean by map classes? Indoor maps have a specific size and outdoor maps have a specific size, so in theory once a single map is assembled, you could run the Petpet scripting if the symbols are the same AS3 code and simply replace the graphics for the next one in one drag and drop and do minor corrections as needed formed there. Pragmatic programming and art was king in Petpet Park. Don't repeat yourself, dry. This principle is a cornerstone of the philosophy. Every piece of knowledge in a system should have a single, unambiguous, authoritative representation to avoid redundancy and errors. This was used everywhere it could be used in this game. For instance, to load a blue Pinaxi Petpet, it only need to store blue and Pinaxi, and the path for getting the file was hard-coded. Generating the link to do the rest. This is the example in Petpet part of this. Array 1 equals blue, orange, red, green, etc. Array 2 equals Casagat, Pinaxi, etc. How does that work in coding as a plain text example? Load array 1, item 0, load array 2, item 0 to use the others. Just change that number to match that object. How would this work for maps? Background loading. I am hesitant to show how this works due to the fact the coding also works on Unity, so this is what we suspect they did to make the maps load without manual labor. We suspect it works like this. One code starts running with the loading command like background plus I+1 with I set to 0. What's the I+1? Do recall AS3 coding starts at 0 and we like to add zeros if possible. The code, if it has 20 pieces, is set to 19 and stop loading now that the pieces know their homes. At the end of the background _01, IR runs again and gets background _02, until the end count is reached, end timer is reached and the map is nearly and pristinely placed on the map as needed. How can Petpet Park rebuild prove my theory? Easy. Rename a map set's symbol name in the library to its AS3 name for both a completed map and one you're trying to build. They should match when you did it correctly. Do it to both. It's only 20 pieces or so, and save a copy and drag your uncompleted map objects into the library, and when Adobe Animate CC will ask if you WNAT to replace the objects, select yes, and it's either going to be very pretty or very disastrous. This is the same exact process I use to build Petpets, but recall I have a script that goes, does this have an AS3 name? Yes. Then copy whatever the AS3 name in place of it. This script does 300 symbols in a few seconds, is exactly what they're doing in JPXs, but occurs in seconds for all the applicable assets. This is why I feel we should try to work together, since while they're using JPXs to assemble Petpets, I can show the same result hundreds of times faster and with little to no stress on my end, but I don't see that happening.
Dancing in the dark, Casagat whispers a language untamed. 54 layers, a secret unnamed. Symbols collide like stars in the sky. You blink once and the rules multiply. Decode the blue, the Casagat's heart. 54 layers, where do we start? Words like whispers, symbols like art. This is the code pulling us apart. A meaning drawn on air, a hidden script they wouldn't share. A labyrinth but in electric threads. Every clue a step where logic treads. What's the truth behind the haze? A puzzle locked in electric maze. Blue and gold, it twists, it flows. Casagat knows, but it never shows. Decode the blue, the Casagat's heart. 54 layers, where do we start? Words like whispers, symbols like art. This is the code pulling us apart. Maps of meaning drawn on air, a hidden script they wouldn't share. A labyrinth spun in electric threads. Every clue a step where logic treads. What's the truth behind the haze? A puzzle locked in electric maze. Blue and gold, it twists, it flows. Casagat knows, but it never shows. The Casagat's heart.
Do not follow truths. No one will tell you a story in which he himself is a traitor. The bird who has eaten cannot fly with the bird that is hungry. If you do injustice to someone today, you will be treated unfairly tomorrow. Build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across. A wise leader always considers about gains and damages to their decisions. A spy can defeat an entire army of enemies, and a traitor can humiliate his whole nation with defeat. The pain of freedom is better than the pain of slavery. Lord, protect me from my friends. I can take care of my enemies. A silent man and a non-barking dog are both dangerous. It is foolish to expect justice from the oppressors. Hunger is very heavy, under it knowledge, wisdom, intellect, thought all die. Learn to fight against your oppressor. The oppressor is not as powerful as your silence makes them powerful. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. People who tolerate criticism patiently, and don't get angry are hard to beat. Good decisions come from experience, and experience comes from making bad decisions. Hypocrites and inferior people get angry with you unnecessary. Complete with everyone in the world, but when it comes to completion with teacher or parents, back office defeat will be your destiny. This is the law of nature. Most of your problems and unhappiness comes from not facing the reality. How easy it is to talk of patience, when the trouble is not your trouble. If you want to make your own identity, then don't go where there is a lot of traffic. Maturity is when you don't force people to choose you. Knowledge without practice is useless. Practice without knowledge is dangerous.